Let's get this awfulness over with. Hello, I'm doing a one-off of my Thingy-Madoodahs, and you will be seeing more and more of the Thingy-Madoodahs later on, but this is one which I wanted to do personally, because this doesn't actually fit into anything else. More because this is a very personal thing to me myself. Aquaman number 8 in 2003. Yeah, because I've only tried to do that one. I think that was one that I think it finished something. I think this was the last one before the New 52 actually. Previous New Name actually. You know we're gonna have a weird one. We have a pretty impressive opening for title 8. Very good picture. The artwork is absolutely astonishing. Very beautiful details and something from a thing I've seen the intros of. Go away. We see Black Manta going around in his sub, the Manta sub. Obsessive compulsive disorders were not well understood in the early days. As late as 1980, they were all too well often misdiagnosed, even at leading psychiatric hospitals. While in lesser institutions such as Arkham, erroneous interpretations of symptoms were the norm. To be fair, little actual research has been done into autism at this point. Medical science still defined the condition as absorption into self-centered subjective mental activity. So there was little sympathy for the orphan who screamed uncontrollably whenever the attendants put him to bed. Let's just point out the main plot hole in this to begin with. Why, oh why, are there people, little children, at Arkham Asylum? I know the Joker isn't around yet, but this is still known as a madhouse. Could there at least be a little nice more colour in the area? No one knew what he wanted. Searching. Well, Manta knows, apparently. Scientists hadn't yet probed the full range of developmental abnormalities in the nervous systems of autistics. True. They had no idea that to this orphan, the soft touch of cotton seeds may be experienced as excruciating pain. Maybe. There was no clinical basis to indicate how his mind processed freezing cold water as sublime ecstasy. Hampered by lack of evidence, professionals of that era were forced to rely on restraint rather than treatment. Scanning. Sometimes, even such tried and true methods proved unsuccessful, and caregivers when confronted with unmanageable behavior were often forced to devise their own strategies with which to smother it. You realize this would be a perfect thing to look at when you look at the music film that came out that praised restraints as the best thing to help people with autistic if you're having a panic attack. Oh wait, that's not the truth. That is painful to people. Restraining someone when having a panic attack is basically like choking them. They need to panic and breathe. Doing things like that can basically harm people. I can't tell what this comic's trying to do at this point. We now see a thing to do with Aquaman, something in the story, I didn't know what was going on. And then apparently he was covered in a toxic spill when the slag pit. Yeah, this is what happens when you go to a British guy reading something in the word slag. Jeez. Apparently Aquaman is now trying not to be choked. And then we have a lot of women with something bikinis. Yeah, because apparently the best situation for this comic to show strength is to have 97%, 90% naked ladies going around. That makes people so happier. We then get something happening. I don't know half the stuff is going on. Apparently a pirate is going somewhere. I don't know where it is. We then get a thingy. Sift. And now let's just get into the more stupider things. It's about to get really worse. Even into the early 90s, it was assumed autistics who remained institutionalized throughout their teens would never be able to join normal society. It was considered medical doctrine that the strange connections of these individuals making their brains. You see, wasn't super friends? I'm getting confused by this. Would never be fathomed. We now see. Yeah, I was going to say it says Black Manta being shoved into a device to which he is proudly and breathtakingly cured, meaning it's a beautiful reaction. Oh, he's dead. No one cares about you. Then we get. This is Valhalla. I got all this stuff. The thingy Meduda, there's a thingy. War, there's a. No. He is able to. Tempest able to save Aquaman. And he gets saved. Then Finger gets taken. And bang, the Germans attack. And then Curry attacks. Oh, great. He's here again. Then he attacks the first, I think his name is. Then he goes bang. We get a explanation of the hatred of obviously him killing Aqua Baby. And your Majesty has carried this millstone in his heart ever since. Carried it. He's never gone over it. Manta, Aqua, Sausage. Somewhere in that middle of gibberish, it sounds like you're happy to see me. And not as I am, as dull as I am, but that's answer due to you. What you did to my kid. Crash, bang. Then Black Manta goes out with a thing like this. Then it explains to my woman not to save. Black Manta is occurring on. And then we got to this scene. Aquaman checks to see what's going on, and so he uses power for telepathy and things. And then he doesn't look all that evil right now, and he sounds so confused, almost like you did after you absorbed those chemicals. You don't think that the wires in his brain are all crossed? I wonder what's going on in there. I could easily probe his surface water with my telepathy. By channeling through the hand, I can dive much deeper into his mind. Everything's a jumble. I'm getting flashes of semi-coherent memory. Then we get the explanation about him having autism. And Arcta's explaining this that. And you know what? I can do something about that. Wait. How, Aquaman, do you know how to do this? You are not a doctor. You have spent most of your modern life under the sea in Atlantis and fishes. And yes, there have been medical situations that imply that autism can actually be encountered in animals. And if you're saying that you've been able to cure autism from fish, you are really disturbing. And what to make things worse, fish brains are not the same as human brains. So you're attempting to treat Aquaman's autism and brain like a fish's brain. Everything that you just said in that 2 sentences makes no sense. And then we get Aquaman being happy, and apparently he is cured. Ha 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 ha. Let me just put things in example here right now. I have autism. I've been diagnosed with it since I was very little. I say very little, I've been less than 6 months. My parents, even though I was born in the late 90s, when the Wakefield trials, and trials very, very lightly with him, were going around, my parents did not believe the fact that I could be cursed or harmed because I had autism. There were 2 very good reasons why. One, my mother is actually medically profound. She retired soon after my other sibling was born. But she actually knows how medical science works. And B, here's a big one. They knew it was a lie. Because unfortunately, comic books, in particular Marvel and DC, are not very good at understanding autism at the slightest. Black Manta is the only character in the entirety of the DC universe who is being actually stated as having autism. Marvel has had quite a few characters. There's Mr. Fantastic. Read the Marvel Knight Fantastic book. It says one of the issues where he self-diagnosed himself. That's not a good idea, mate. There's Legion, who is not autistic in the slightest, and that he makes even less sense nowadays. Every year they make a different explanation for him, but you can't figure out how it makes any sense. And there's been a few minor characters. A lot of the X-Men have problems with it. The worst interpretation of that. Read New X-Men issues 135 to 137. There's an autistic character in that, and it is a humiliation what happens to him. Mostly over time, it's very brief characters, like 2 or 3, get very similar up, but they vanish. Other comic books, and TV shows and movies, I'm just going to say it right now. Atypical aside, TV shows and movies have gotten so much better on how autism is handled. Again, music aside. They treat autism as not so much a disability as such. Yes, they do point out some of the problems with like panics and struggling, but they also point out that a lot of autistic people are actually very intelligent. They understand what's going on in situations if you help them, and that they are kind, caring people. In recent years, the best characterized interpretations of autism, in my personal situations, which I have seen quite a few scenes of it. I haven't seen the entire show, but I have seen a little clips and understand she works. Entrapped her from She-Ra and the Princess of Power. She is very sweet. She does get confused, but her relationship with Hordak is very interesting. And her personality is just so adorably fun to watch. It's adorable. Nautica and Iron Fist is a 2 of them still from. It's the IDW's first one. Last Stand on the Record is where Iron Fist comes in. It's brief, and there's a tiny cameo of him in the grand finale of Chaos. And Nautica is from the Morning Meets the Eye. Not first year, it's Dark Cybertron onwards, that's when she joined the team. Both of them are the Disney basically winners on the autistic spectrum. For a very long time, I keep thinking that Tailgate's autistic, but I think it's something else. I don't know what it is. There's a lot of similarities. He has a lot of panic attacks. I guess confused by social interaction, but I think it's something. I don't know what that is. But then we get to how DC. Like I said, this means, like I said, only Black Manta has been diagnosed with it. He is one of the most offensive stereotypes I've ever seen. To make things worse, this comic implies that his autism was the reason he was evil. I'm going to tell you about a man in real life who is on the autistic spectrum. His name is John Ausonius. He is a man who has been locked up in prison for a very good reason. I'm going to be very careful how I type this up, because I do not remember the exact location of him. He is Swedish, and as Athens states, from August 1991 to January 1992, he shot 11 people, killing one and seriously injuring the others. And to make things worse, he is autistic, but that wasn't the reason why he did this. He did this because he was a racist. There was a difference between racism causing a crime and autism supposedly causing a crime. Autism doesn't cause psychotic insanity and murder. It is your decision. I'm back to Black Manta. The New 52 got rid of his autism, I think, since he never actually grabbed him in the slightest. And for good reason. It was one of the most offensive. Is it weird to point out that the only things that were good about the New 52 was the Jeff Johns Justice League, which hiccups aside from like the beginning and Wit's second arc. The very, very boring and awful, and the Trinity was boringness of all boringness. The only things that were actually very good were the Batman comics. They turned the Outlaws aside. They had a great Batgirl run, they had a really good Batman run, a really decent Nightwing run. I know Grayson is considered the best one of that one. The Batman Robin one is considered one of the best. Catwoman was something, I think. Yeah, Batman Endgame was one. No, Batman something. It was Batman. It was the 75th anniversary, but I can't remember what it was. Give me a sec. Oops. Batman Eternal. I'm going to say one of the best Batman ones I've seen. Stories I think I've finished. Anything else is absolutely rubbish. Really boring ideas, terrible executions. There's only Gimme Superman Truth, and I think Light Stars is one of the worst stories in the entire thing. That thing was a mess. Let's go sum this up by now. If you want, in my personal opinion, as an autistic man, I don't know what's very serious in this, but if you want to know how, in my personal opinion, to write an autistic character correct, the best way you can do it, here it is. Make the character, not male or female, just the character, have an excitement for life. They must. Now, if you want to get every character autistic character to be sad and depressed, they have to have been bullied viciously. That is the only way that can actually make sense. To the point where they believe that life does not even deserve to even exist. Happened to me before I was in the first year of college. They have to be excitable, but not screamy. And they have to be someone who is like this. If they are given instructions to follow, they will follow them. Beginning to end, that is the best way that you can do it. After the good and the bad, it's bad being this. It's time for me to stop what I'm doing. Hopefully this recorded once. Yeah, this is my second time doing this. My great bust last time. Anyway, toodles.